For our first story, we have update, BF, 34 male, is upset I, 32 female, didn't serve him a plate at Christmas link, 34 male, BF is upset with me, 32 female, because I didn't make his plate and serve it to him during Christmas. Where do I go from here? Our 5-year anniversary is a couple weeks from now and we have a 2-year-old. I didn't know anything was wrong until we started the 5 hours drive home after spending the holidays with my family. He was quiet pretty much the whole way and snapped at me when I asked why he was following too close behind a vehicle, and also driving fast. As soon as we get home he leaves without a word for a couple hours, gets back and says he went to the mall to buy a couple more gifts and some shoes for himself. I'm annoyed because I have been telling him for weeks to pick out shoes and I will buy them for his upcoming birthday. He's really hard to shop for and picky about his clothes. So I asked him why he bought himself shoes when I wanted to buy him some as a gift. He says in rude tone, "Send me 100 then because that's how much they were." I finally asked him what his problem was and he was upset that I didn't make him a plate. I spent over 4 hours cooking for my whole family, also cooked for Xmas Eve the day before. I was tired. The holidays are exhausting. I couldn't believe he was upset about that. He seemed annoyed on Boxing Day because we ordered pizza and I made a plate for my stepfather who uses a cane. I told him to make himself a plate and he just sat there. He also said I barely looked at him during our visit and if I did, I didn't smile or look at him lovingly. Like I said, I was tired. My 2-year-old was also extra clingy, so I felt overstimulated and just tried to be present with my family. Lastly, he was mad because I didn't go sledding with him and my family. I stayed back with my sister and baby niece and we watched a rom-com. I wanted to relax and have some me time, and he was upset about that, saying I just wanted to go on my phone, which I did. I got to watch TikToks and just scroll for a bit. Anyway, after we got home and had this conversation, I left upset and went to have dinner by myself while he took our child for a walk. As soon as I got home he left again and didn't come back for 4 hours. We have barely spoken and I don't want to be the one to sit down and start this conversation, to coddle him and make him feel better. I'm so sick of this. Where do I go from here? Update, like an absolute dumbass, I stayed. I cried my eyes out and told him how I felt and he didn't have anything to say, just that he's sorry and will do better. We were okay for a week. Today is our 5-year anniversary. What would have been, he broke up with me today. I've had to stay home all week with our child because of a parasite and waiting for tests. On Thursday I got sick and still am sick with what feels like a chest cold infection. The morning of our anniversary he goes rock climbing. I don't know what time he left but was gone until noon. I was pissed and texted him it would have been nice to have help while I rested. I canceled the reservations I made to the restaurant that we met at. When I told him this he ripped up the card he got me, told me he's going to stay elsewhere and we're done. He said I am miserable and just want to be sad and that I make him pay with all the ways my dad failed me. My father could care less about me and I have daddy issues. Laugh out loud. I don't think I'm being unreasonable for expecting him to spend the whole day or coming back early from climbing. I didn't even get a good morning, happy anniversary text. But it is what it is. Anyways, y'all were right. I knew it in my heart but didn't want to believe it. There's no coming back from this but I'm okay. Thank you for letting me vent and for all of your advice. It's nice to come back and read all the positive support. That's the end of our first post. Let's see what the commenters had to say. Our first commenter says, "Just hold your head high and move forward. When he changes his mind, hold firm. Talk to a lawyer about child support, etc. You can do this. You've seen who he is now. Don't let yourself unsee it. I believe in you, and you deserve all good things." Our second commenter says, "He sounds like a man-child. Now he's gone, I almost guarantee you'll start thriving. With him not around putting you down, draining your energy and self-esteem, you'll start noticing a difference." Our third commenter says, "Honestly, it sounds like he's having an affair. He is projecting and making up reasons to be mad at you. It's how narcissists justify their own awful behavior." For our second story, we have, "My son's father, 39 male, thinks him and I, 29 female, should be together. I am engaged and not interested. What to do now? My son's father and I broke up when I was pregnant. He was absolutely awful, cheated non-stop, mentally and became physically abusive. I was young and very dumb but left when I was about 2 months pregnant. We hated each other for the entire pregnancy and toddler years. I did everything myself, worked, gave birth alone, took care of a newborn with no help. I turned to mom groups for advice. I did family court, etc. I started to figure life out on my own as a single mother. I stayed single while my ex dated every woman he can find. I grew up a lot, took care of myself physically and mentally. A year and a half ago I met my fiancé. He is so patient, kind, handsome, loving. Just everything I waited for to find in a man. My ex and I started to become friends a year ago. We started to do things together with our son. We got along better as co-parents than we ever have. My fiancé helped me mature and move past my traumas. I went from being a single mother who's always been working since I was 15, to now a stay-at-home mom. I'm happier, healthier, definitely more mature and a loving mother and future wife. My ex noticed my shift and is now obsessed with getting back together. He said he didn't see my potential back then, but he sees how much I've grown and thinks I should leave my fiancé for him. I laughed in his face cause I thought maybe he was joking. Past 3 weeks he's been blowing up my phone saying we should be together for our son or our son will end up in prison if he doesn't have his parents together. I told him straightforward I have zero interest in him in any romantic or any other way. He refused to take my responses. I began ignoring him but he starts texting about our son. I reply and then he's back to the same old stupid delusional comments. My fiancé knows, we are both fed up with him at this point. He's even started to try to drop our son off Sundays nights. He knows Sunday are the days my fiancé goes to see his son. Last Sunday I gave in because I missed my son and he tried to get me to let him in knowing my fiancé was not home. I slammed the door in his face. Each day goes back I get extremely pissed that he think I would ever go back to that terrible, miserable, unhappy relationship we had. I don't know what else to do. I was nice with my rejection. I was rude, now I just want to scream in his face to get a frkn life. On top of that, while I had a newborn he had women harass me, told them I'm crazy and so in love with him and he never wanted me, told his GF at the time he wished I committed s. Went to my siblings and mom to seem like the victim but they all laughed at him and blocked him. I honestly thought we had gotten over the past and was getting along for our son. But now he thinks I'm wife material. I should just date a dude that still lives with his mom and doesn't even own his own car. While I worked and saved to buy my dream car, while my finance and I moved into our dream house. Traveling as a family, my son calls him Daddy as of recently. Has anyone dealt with this? That's the end of our second post. Let's see what the commenters had to say. Our first commenter says, go to court to codify a parenting plan that includes communication is restricted to that which is directly tied to your child only. If he can't take no for an answer from you, perhaps he'll take it more seriously coming from a judge. Our second commenter says, switch to only communicating through a lawyer-friendly co-parenting app, never texts or anything else. Examples. Link. No more family time with him, and have drop-offs done somewhere that's not your house. Our third commenter says, he was never friends with you again. That was a long con that didn't pay off. And now he's doing the full court press on being a stalker. He knew you were in a serious relationship and only pretended to give a F about your son. He wants what he can't have. He tried to physically force entry to your home? You may need to do handovers at a public place. For our last story, we have Mike, 28 female, boyfriend, 32 male, threw a bowl across the room after one spilled link. Boyfriend is sick and I feel really bad because he's miserable and I got him link. Thing is, he has always had issues with his anger in other situations that stressed him out, not me directly usually. Tonight felt scary. Link already had dinner but I made myself miso soup and I didn't like it so I asked if he wanted it and I gave him a sip from my spoon and it was warm but not hot in the slightest. He said he didn't want more and I'm weak from health issues I have so I've become more clumsy recently, never with food until today, and I spilled the soup on the couch. It was literally less than 1/3 a cup of soup so not much at all. We also had a couch cover that's machine washable on the couch. His instinct was to grab the bowl from beside me on the couch. We were both sitting on the couch and the bowl was between us. After grabbing it he launched it past me across the room and it broke into a ton of pieces that flew so far they were in all parts of the apartment and some pieces were by my feet. Our dog who was beside me was shaky too. He apologized after calmly and said he shouldn't have done that and it wasn't anger towards me just towards the situation. He swept up all the glass and I'm pretty sure I got a tiny piece somewhere in my thumb because it feels like a tiny shard is in it but can't get it out or see it. IDK. He apologized multiple times and went to bed. I think he wanted me to console him but I just said, let's just sleep it off. Clearly you're feeling irritated today. I don't say, it's okay, or, it's fine, and I told him I'm disappointed in him. He asked if it scared me when he threw the bowl and when asked if he wanted it to scare me and he said no but then proceeded to say I looked scared. IDK why that was the focus of his wrongdoing. What can be done to navigate this problem he has? That's the end of our last post. Let's see what the commenters had to say. Our first commenter says, you dump his ass. This is classic abusive behavior. First you accept his outburst, then he starts hitting you and your dog. Our second commenter says, he wanted you to console him? Because he had a temper tantrum over an accident, one so bad he frightened both you and your poor dog. You break up with him, that's the best way to navigate that problem. This is the first step. If you accept this, next time he'll throw something right at you. Our third commenter says, you can break up with him. This is a hard line, and this type of abuse almost always escalates. Out of almost nowhere, he launched a hard physical object with his total strength at a wall, disregarding the safety of his partner and helpless pet. Worse, he showed little if any remorse and appeared completely nonplussed by his actions. He is unpredictable, violent, and generally unrepentant. Sinisterly, he was also testing your reaction with his questions afterward. Unfortunately, right now he believes you will tolerate these types of violent outbursts. Make no mistake, I think remaining calm and placid was likely the safest option for you in the moment. Next he'll grab your face or your arm just a little too hard, then, accidentally, shove you into a wall. You are not safe with this man. Even if this were one of the, extremely unlikely, rare case where it did not escalate to violent physical abuse against you, the work he needs to do internally should not be done inside a romantic relationship. That's all for today. If you enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe. Thank you, and have a wonderful day.